Hi! So on Minecraft, if you've been wanting to build a rail that you can get in without the cart just speeding away, and but your problems are that, like, here's one of the problems that I think people often run into. So they put together, so they want to start with some powered rails, obviously, and so when they start, they think, okay, well maybe I can have a button, and I'm going to connect that with some of this. So I'll have a button so I can power my track. And they're like, well great, now I'll get in my cart, push this, oh but I'm not moving. So that's one of the common problems. And also another common problem is they say, well maybe if I have it powered continuously, and then you get your thing on, but then it just takes off and you're like, well wait for me. So if you have those two problems, then please stick around because this video should help you. I just want to show you a simple way of being able to get into a cart and not have it either just sit there or it flies away as you're trying to get in. I didn't want my my button thing to be right there because it's so close to the track and it's squishy, so I just put a piece of redstone there and then I put it there so that it could travel to the track. And see this thing, if it's up against a block like the wall, then that wall will kind of shove you away right when you push the button, see? So like it pushed me away, so that's really nice. So I can get into the cart and it won't just take off, or it's easy to get in. So I just built this across the ocean so I go to my other house, and I did the same thing on this side. But you notice over here I have a double brake because sometimes, your cart might get messed up and it just boings away. But see this is nice because I can push it back up against that little brick and then push that and I get zoom off. And so this is a simple way, and I can show you how to do it out in the open if you're not up against the wall. Basically you just put a block and that will help. So let's say here I am, I'm out in the, oh yeah, you can have this right next to your track, or you can just have a piece of redstone so you have a little breathing room. I like to do it that way. Okay, so let's say you're out in the middle of open and you're like this and you put down your power rails to start, and then you just put a block there because that'll kind of act to propel the cart when you hit the button. So see this is what's, and then push that and then it zips you off. So it's important to have that block there because, and then once you get to the end, obviously that same setup is over there, and this acts as a brake, so you won't, fly off your trail or anything or get hurt. So anyway, it's just really simple. So it probably isn't helpful for a lot of you, but anyway, show you a little kind of my rail system that I've got here, and I usually carry a minecart with me because sometimes I forget what side the minecart's on, but that same setup's everywhere and that I have. And sometimes it's helpful to put a normal piece of track in between. Like if you had a redstone, let's say I have a redstone torch up there that's powering all this, but if you had a redstone torch that's powering your stuff and then it ends up powering the stuff you don't want because you want your button to do that, that's why you would take this out and put a normal piece of track there, see, like that, so that this would not interfere with your brake pedal thing, because you want it to be lit by the button, but you don't want it to be lit continuously because otherwise your cart will zip right back when you get here, and you don't want that. So anyway, here's the same kind of setup here, but see, it's really squishy here. And this takes me back up to that house that I showed you earlier, but this was the first rail I put together. And you don't need to use as much power rail as I have. Oh yep, there's already a minecart here too. And the thing about redstone, it doesn't work if it runs adjacent. So like sometimes you'd have to do this, and this would have to be a power rail in order to get power because you need to get it perpendicular. But if it's just one piece, then fortunately for me it's been powering. So, oh, I lost my cart, but that's okay. So anyway, so that's kind of basically if you want to have that system. And you know, you can run wires like crazy if you use redstone repeaters, because let's say if you pushed a button and you had like redstone running a long ways, then eventually the electrical circuit might break out. So I've never done this before, but I believe that's what you use the repeater for, and then you put more wire, more like this is your wire, you know, and then you put that again next to it so it can keep running. And I've been thinking about doing that, you know, linking that up to my button and linking it to this button setup on the other side so that I could push it to recall my minecart back here and have it, you know, sent back here. So, anyway, thanks for watching this.